let's talk about Batman issue 403. Max Allan Collins writing with Dennis Cohen on the art. So this is we really liked the last issue of Batman, right? We sort of Detective was fun the last couple issues. That last issue of Batman we did a couple episodes ago. We really liked. This is kind of the second part of that. Because obviously the next issue of Batman, if you're familiar with the numbers, 404 is going to be the start of year one. So we're getting the Frank Miller year one story starting next episode, which is weird that we're hitting a big story like that.
Well, not next episode.
Okay, well, okay. Next time we do Batman, next episode is going to be a detective issue. Yes, yeah. Quite right. People knew what I meant.
Well, I just wanted to be clear. It's actually on that. It's going to be really weird reading year one that spaced out. I've never read it not in one go.
I think that's part of the interesting experience of doing this show, is like taking some of those classic stories that we're going to encounter and spread them out as if we're doing it as single issues.
Yeah, it's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah. So, Crazy Not Batman, ex-cop, is in Arkham. And
yeah, we have a great opening sequence of him fighting what seems to be Joker and Two-Face.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we suspect that it's him rather than the real Batman, but he is dressed as Batman here. It's a lot of like, trippy like grids and zigzags, backgrounds and stuff.
Checkerboards, lots of red and black, and then a little bit of white in there as well on some of the floors.
But what I like about it is the reveal at the end that it's just him in a t-shirt, but he's just beat up two guards or two orderlies from Arkham Asylum. And it's like, oh, so this is just in his deluded mind. This is what he's seeing, is that he thinks he's fighting the Joker and Two-Face, but he's actually beating up innocent dudes.
Actually cracked.
Yeah, he's completely psychotic. And the plot of this issue is basically he escapes Arkham, and he has like a Shawshank moment, and this issue came out before Shawshank existed, but he actually looks up at the rain, and you don't see his hands, it's a close-up of his face, but it reminded me of the moment of Shawshank when Andy Dufresne's like out for the first time, and he's like, yeah, the rain, and he basically stumbles through the woods, sort of looking for what is he looking for again? I can't remember what he's looking for.
He's aiming to get to Bruce Wayne because
that's right.
Wayne gave him some support or something.
Yeah.
Is it his lawyer or something like that?
But yeah, because Bruce Wayne wanted to give him the best help, the best care that money could buy, he's looking for Bruce Wayne, and he actually ends up stumbling into a cave and goes into a cavern and goes into through some channels and paths and ends up in the cave, and he's like, yes, my cave. He actually stumbles into the real Batcave and ends up stealing the Batmobile. That is the plot of this.
It's kind of funny. He's walking around the Batcave going, I don't remember any of this. All those drugs they pumped me with must have, really messed with my memory. But this is clearly my base of operations. Just look at all these trophies everywhere.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Bruce is on a date with Vicky Vale.
Yeah, it's not going too well for him.
No. She keeps saying how much of a brute Batman is and how much she likes a real man like Bruce Wayne. Interesting. They're kind of doing the. Well, it's not quite the Superman thing, because obviously Lois likes Superman and thinks Clark's boring. Who is it that has this usually? What superhero has the love interest who thinks the hero's the rogue that they don't like, but they love the regular dude? Because this is definitely something that happens from time to time.
It is. I've definitely seen it as well.
Who is it?
It's a good question. I'm trying to think of the big secret identity character stories.
Daredevil, maybe? Does Daredevil have this sometimes?
No, maybe. I don't think so. I don't recall it. I don't think it's Spider-Man.
Nah, not Spider-Man. Not unless he's dating J. Jonah Jameson.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. So no, good stuff. So yeah, Alfred's like driving them to her place. Oh, he's not actually going to stay, because she actually asked him repeatedly to come in, and he's like, nope. We get like the guards from Arkham like searching the forest nearby, and I actually really like those panels at them with the flashlights. Did a good job of almost creating just kind of that search party. They've got the big rain overalls on and things like that.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got a nice atmosphere to it. I mean, much like the last issue, even though I like this again, I think I preferred the last one a little bit more, because the last one had more of a statement about Batman's thought, his viewpoint on killing people, and it really made a statement. This one's a solid follow-up, although I don't like it as much.
I definitely felt like this was a follow-up in the sense of they knew they were having year one coming up at 404, and they're like, well, we just need one more issue. Can you just knock up one more thing for us.
Do you know what this almost feels like? It almost feels like it's a proper follow up, but I would typically expect this to be another like one issue fill in like later. Like, oh, we've got another gap later on, so do a little story harkening back to that previous one shot.
Do you know what? No, do you know what I'm gonna liken this to?
Yes.
This is the direct-to-video sequel. It's still pretty good, but it's like, yeah, okay, we're just here now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I just mean, like, I'm thinking, like, in, like, Tom King's run, for example, you had that murderous little guy who thought he was Bruce Wayne, right? I mean, hell, it's even a kind of a doppelganger in a weird way as well. Just a different sense. The way, so that was like a one-shot, a one-issue thing, but then it came back for one issue later. Like, I could, you know, I could see this being separated, but it's just not. It's just, you know, it's not. They're treating it as if it's a two-part story, but it's not really a two-part. It's like, no, it was a one and done, and this is a sequel issue. It just comes right
Pretty much
away, which you know. So he gets a real Batmobile. He gets a real Batmobile, and this is notable because he's never had that before. But yeah,
and he drives off to go see Gordon.
Yeah, what I was going to say though is there's a couple of lines from Batman that are a bit cheesy and feel like, even though this book does certainly seem to have Batman down better in the sense of his you know, his views on things, his morality, all that stuff. There is the odd really cheesy bit of dialogue that I'm like, yeah, no writer would ever put that sentiment in Batman's mouth now. Like, you know, it's too much of a wisecrack or whatever. There's some examples coming up at some point, but
I kind of miss wisecracking Batman because it was kind of a thing for a long time. Like, I mean, even going back to like the animated series, I can think of a lot of wisecracking moments in that.
So do you know what this a weird way is that when they go to look to find the Batmobile, where is it? I'm like, since when does he only have one of them in the cave? Like, he has to take a bike, and I'm like, why is he taking the Bat bike? Like, he usually has like 10 of those things just sitting around.
Yeah, that's how you know writers have really loved giving him new Batmobiles over the last couple of decades.
Yeah, well, it is worth mentioning, this is before even the first Tim Burton Batman movie. One of the reasons why we have so many Batmobiles now is that they love to put all the old movie Batmobiles in the background, and a lot of the big cave panels. So I feel like the whole idea that there's a whole army of vehicles is like a relatively modern thing because they love to at least put all the movie ones in the background. So
it's a nice idea that you don't. It works in the sense that, of course, he has enough money to have all of these. Why not?
Oh yeah, sure. No, I never doubt it. It never takes me out of it or go, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like, you know. So he takes a bike. He doesn't let Jason come with him. He's like, nope, Jason, you stay here in case he comes back. So he gets the chump job.
I mean, it is Jason.
It is Jason, yes. So Batman goes to Commissioner Gordon. Gordon's explain, okay, he broke out, yada yada yada. And Batman's like, oh, by the way, don't ask how. I mean, actually, this is the exact line. We have an added problem. Please don't ask how. but Karma has got his hands on the Batmobile. I love the please don't. This is one of these lines that I can't imagine Batman in, like, you know, 2020 saying to Gordon, like, oh, please don't ask me how, but this thing happened.
But it's weirdly like, it's not un-Batman either though. Like, yeah. Gordon was responding, oh, wonderful. What do you want to do? Reported stolen? I think it's kind of funny.
I do.
It's true to Batman enough that I don't. If it did come out of Batman's mouth now, it'd be like, well, that's a little bit of a weird line now, but it's not completely out of character.
Yeah, as far as a sequel to the last story goes, I think the idea that he gets his hands on the real Batmobile and some real bat tech is an interesting way to elevate it and say, okay, this is how the stuff's heightened now. And he continues going after people who were responsible for his family's death. You know, it turns out his partner, when he was on the force, was the one who gave him like certain information and whatnot. And he leads him in the direction of the mob boss that kind of put the hit out on his family, or on him, that ended up killing his family. And so that's where he goes. Obviously, Batman ends up in pursuit as well. We get a Batman v Batman fight. The issue doesn't end rather abruptly. Like, there's like, oh shit, we have no more pages left. We have to quickly just say this is over. Because they're literally still punching each other. And I do like the
two panels before the end. Or something like that.
I do love the visual of the fake Batman, like, you know, down on the ground, whimpering, saying nobody can defeat the Batman. Like, he's trying to say that to himself. He's like, I can't lose. No one can defeat the Batman. But he's actually on the floor crying. There's something, you know, as to say that, because, you know, it's this little final bit of narration where Bruce is kind of like, you know, Vicky Vale may think the Batman and Bruce Wayne are two very different people. But the Avenger within the Batman coexists with the Compassionate Man, and this is what I guess this is the thing that dates it the most, is this idea, because I think to us, right, the modern idea of Batman is that Batman's the real person, and Bruce Wayne, like, you know, he, like, what Batman is the person who's been obsessed and like been devoted to this since he was a teenager, since he was old enough to have an idea in his head that he could become something and fight back or whatever. This war on crime, that's who he really is. And the persona of Bruce Wayne in public is just kind of the charade, just to like fool people, right?
Yeah, I think we've been over this before, where I don't fully agree with that. I think, you know, I think Batman is just as much of of a persona as Bruce Wayne is. But I think, you know, the real, you know, the real Bruce is closer to Batman than he is to the Bruce Wayne persona.
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean,
there's a middle. It's
he does obviously add the theatricality. That's a big thing we talk about with. So there is an element of exaggeration, but
but quite extra. I think, you know, there's when you have Bruce sat, you know, in the Batcave with just like Alfred there, that's Bruce. That's him. That's what, when he is who he actually is. Anytime he's outside of that cave, I guess he's kind of putting on a bit of an act one way or another.
I guess my argument is that the Batman is like the character that he creates as a tool to be who he really is and to have it be effective, whereas the Bruce Wayne character is just a disguise. You know, like
yeah, I agree with that. But it's what I say, you know, that bit where he's just with Alfred, he is absolutely still Batman. He's doing Batman work, but he is also Bruce Wayne at the same time. And Alfred's kind of like the only one who really knows that in that moment.
Okay.
So I think it's slightly different.
Yeah, but that's definitely felt weird to me. It was just a sentiment at the end, which is fine. Like, it's not a bad sentiment, but it definitely feels like an old idea of not only who Batman is, but I can see this text applying to almost any other superhero. You know, the idea of any superhero and the real person behind, and how they're both kind of at odds with each other, and you know, they're both part of the same person, yada yada yada. But it was still an enjoyable read.
I do like this last sentiment though, where he's just like, all right, let's go get you some help. And it kind of comes back to the whole start of the issue was, you know, Bruce Wayne tried to help this guy because obviously he felt a little bit guilty.
Yeah, he doesn't want to just try and kill him or even just lock him up. He wants to help him.
It's one of those weird cases where he sent him to Arkham Asylum for actual help, not just because he was a lost cause.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different to usual.
No, it was a fun issue. Not as good as the last one. I thought the last one was actually pretty solid. This one I think is good. It's a nice follow up, but it's not as.
I think there's a couple of like obvious flaws as compared to the last one. Whereas, you know, we talked about how it isn't quite as deep, even though it's got this bit where it's trying here with the stuff at the end. I think it's a little too abrupt at the end, and also I feel like we didn't really utilize him stealing the Batmobile and any other gadgets enough. We didn't really see enough of whatever that could have caused. It was just because he drives off in it, and then we don't really see him again until Batman catches up with him, and we have this fight.
Yeah, I think the idea that he was, I mean, it could almost be like a whole two-parter in itself, this issue, where he gets the gadgets in the Batmobile, and he actually does it. You know, we end the issue with him actually using them, and it may be like, oh hey, this looks like Batman's used his own tools to kill someone, and like obviously Gordon knows he's innocent. Even the whole police force might know he's innocent, but what does that do to the perception? You know, if to Vicky Vale, you know, I mean, hell, they even set up the idea that Vicky Vale, you know, reports on the Batman, and like how could they use that to have her, you know, deepen her belief that the Batman's this brute, and you know. Feed her story, her you know, her narrative. So
it makes it a little bit frustrating that it's still a really good, solid, enjoyable issue that's doing a lot of right things. You know, pacing aside from the very ending is great. Reads really well. Art is excellent. Really dynamic. Some great color work going on. And you know, like that opening sequence for sure, and then the ending as well really sticks out in the color department. It's frustrating though because you can see a lot more potential in it as an idea, and it's just needed a little bit more time to expand on it. It could have been something really great.
Yep. So we'll move on then. Actually, we need to rate it. What are you giving it?
For all the reasons I just said, it's a 7.
Yeah, I agree. 7 out of 10. Easy peasy.